Hello, welcome to the Hedgehog Path. There's a phrase I come back to a lot with this podcast, the Hedgehog Path. Not the big dramatic transformation, not the wake up at 5 a.m. and change your entire life overnight kind of path, but the small shifts, the quiet ones, the ones that don't look like much until suddenly everything feels different. And today's episode is about one of those, a tiny thing I started doing in the morning, and that honestly, I didn't expect it to work, but it really, really did. It has changed the feeling of my days, and not by changing what was happening, but by changing how I just moved through the day. So it began really simply. I have this necklace. It's my Moldavite necklace for those in the know. Maybe I'll do an episode on that sometime in the future. But each morning I put it on when I'm getting ready. And normally I just do that. I just put it on and I get on with my day. But I thought I'd put a bit of intention into wearing it. And I started to talk to it in the morning. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, but I would say, thank you for the fantastic day. And I would say it as if it had really already happened. Not, please let today be good, or I hope nothing goes wrong. Just thank you for the fantastic day today. I didn't make a big deal of it. I didn't sit down and journal on it for 20 minutes. I didn't visualize my dream life. It just took, I know, a few seconds, and have started doing this every single day now. Um, if I'm honest, I didn't really expect anything to happen. Um, I kind of thought maybe nothing would happen at all, or um, maybe something big and obvious would happen, like a sign. But what surprised me was actually what happened was that my days just started to feel better. They started to feel smoother. Things started to go well. Even days I expected to be stressful went better than expected. And here's the interesting part. It wasn't like everything suddenly went perfectly. There were still delays, still little annoyances, still moments where things didn't go to plan, still days when I wished it was a better day. However, what I noticed was I wasn't reacting in the same way. And there was a little shift there. Instead of thinking, oh, here we go, it's one of those days, I just started to let things go a bit more. I expected it to be good. And the surprising thing is that when you start expecting something to go well, it often does. It's like you've already decided that something's going to go well. And when I did this with my necklace, my brain just gently followed along, went with the flow. And because of that, I'd take things a little less personally. I feel a little bit less rushed. I'd notice nice moments more, even small things. So the good song coming on the radio, the message from someone that I wasn't expecting to message me, a surprise gift, a cup of tea that's just right, just little things starting to go well for me. Now, we could explain this in a lot of ways. You could call it intention, expectation, manifestation. You could say it's just how the brain filters information. But honestly, I don't even think we need to fully explain it for it to work. When you start the day with "Thank you for the fantastic day," you're not waiting to see what kind of day you're getting. You've already chosen. You've decided, "I'm having a fantastic day." And what you expect changes what you notice, what you focus on, and how you respond. And what I love about this is how small it is. It isn't a full morning routine. You don't need an hour. You don't need to journal. You don't need to meditate. You just need one single moment while you're getting dressed. For me, it's the necklace, and the Moldavite is important for me here as well. But for you, it could be any crystal, any piece of jewelry. It could even be putting the kettle on or opening the curtains, brushing your hair, sitting in the car before you start driving, or even if you just step out of bed and say, thank you for the fantastic day. When your feet hit the floor, you could say, today's going to be a great day. It's not about what you do, it's about attaching a gentle intention and a gratitude to something you already do. That's the hedgehog path. You're not adding any pressure, you're just shifting your direction slightly. I remember one day in particular when I first started doing this, work was busy and it was a day that I would usually expect to be rushed and difficult, but it went unbelievably smoothly. I just wasn't expecting the day to go so well. So halfway through the day, I had a moment where I thought, this is actually a fantastic day. Not because everything was perfect, but because I felt calm, I handled things well, I noticed the good moments, and everything was just easier. It just felt like it was a good day. And I realized then that the sentence I'd said in the morning, it wasn't something I was trying to prove. It had actually become my experience of the day. So this doesn't change life as a whole, it just changes the feeling of the day. You can have a completely normal day, a productive day, even a good day on paper, but you can still feel stressed, overwhelmed, or behind. So this tiny shift doesn't change your to do list, but it can change how that list feels to move through. So if you want to try it, you don't need to copy my exact words, but if it helps, you can borrow them. So what I say is, thank you for the fantastic day. I say it once, I say it lightly, and I say it like it's already done. And then I go about my day. I don't check, I don't test. There's just no pressure to make it work. You just have to notice what happens. So here's something to think about. Maybe a good day isn't something you find. Maybe it's something you just decide. You don't decide in a forceful way, not in an everything must be perfect sort of way, but in a quiet, grounded, this is a good day sort of way. And if nothing else, you've given yourself a softer place to start from. That's the hedgehog path. Small, simple, but quietly powerful. And if you try this, I would genuinely love to hear how it feels for you. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for following the hedgehog path with me.